This is Oklahoma's own News on 6 in high definition.
We begin this evening with breaking news. Wildfires are burning across Green Country, causing a lot of damage. We're going to take you live to Osage Sky News 6 right now, where Will Kavanagh is flying. And Will, what can you see?
Well, Ashley, right now we're just off of Javine Road and Lombard Lane, right between Skiatook and Avant. And it looks like this is a remnants of a grass fire, and the results of what happens here. This is a large house right now, a large structure fire that the fire department just showed up on scene, and you can see it is red hot and still burning, and firefighters still can't get close to it. But what appears to be the results of an earlier grass fire, as we zoom out a little bit here, I'm going to have Chris Newsom zoom out. We're going to show you just to the south here. You can still see the fire ring of an earlier grass fire. So the reports aren't in yet as exactly what the cause of that house fire is, but it appears to be a result from some local grass fires. Ashley?
All right, Will, are you seeing just one structure on fire right now?
That's correct. It's been a busy afternoon. We've been out on two other fires by Barnstall and Skiatook, just north of Skiatook Lake. But at this time, this is the only structure we've seen that's been on fire. Firefighters done an excellent job protecting most of the homes, but this one just happened to be a getaway from them.
All right, thank you very much, Will. Stay safe out there. Now, News on 6 reporter Tony Russell is also live at Highway 20 near Skiatook, where heavy smoke is forcing crews to shut down the highway. Tony?
Yeah, law enforcement just reopened Highway 20, and it's just a couple of miles down the road where fire crews were working earlier. The good news is a lot of it is contained just about 4 miles west of Skiatook in Osage County. The highway is shut down in both directions, and in the past hour, police have moved back the roadblock because of the thick smoke and high winds. No word on if any homes are affected by this fire, but OHP tells us there are reports fire crews are working to contain the fire near 116th West Avenue.
Even though it's not going east of 116th West Avenue, the wind is blowing the smoke west and then south across the roadway, just making it extremely dangerous.
Just hoping it doesn't jump Highway 20 because it's really dry. So I don't know what we'll do at this point.
In Sapulpa, one home burned, an entire hillside lit up with fire, sending firefighters from across town to put out the fire.
Black smoke, black, you could hardly see.
The Sapulpa Fire Department says an electrical problem in the backyard, possibly the hot tubs.
We had companies that were at 2 or 3 different locations at the time that it came in, and then while we were here, we also had 2 more calls come in, so it's been real busy. And back out here just west of Skiatook, in between Skiatook and Hominy, Highway 20 is reopened, so those of you who have loved ones that are trying to get to their homes, the good news is they can get back there tonight. We haven't had a chance to check 116th West Avenue where fire crews were concentrated. This actually, where we're standing right now, was the roadblock. Tony Russell, News on 6.
We have team coverage of these dangerous wildfires across the Green Country. Osage Sky News 6 flew high above earlier today to see all the chaos. News on 6 pilot Will Kavanagh gives us a bird's eye view you'll only see here on 6.
Osage Sky News 6 flying just north of Skiatook Lake off State Highway 20 and Ranch Hand Road, where police and fire shut down the highway today, while a fire started just to the north of Ranch Hand Road and moved to the southeast here. Again, smoke and flames were real heavy along this highway, shutting it down both east and westbound. Approximately 150 to 200 acres did burn up here this afternoon to early evening, and only one home was threatened at this time, and we can see that firefighters were able to successfully save that home and the outstructures in this area. Again, this scene is still working as we move into early evening. So anyone traveling on the state highway, east or westbound, this highway still remains closed, and it could be closed for some time due to the heavy smoke that's moving to the southeast. Flying south of Barnsdale, just south of Birch Reservoir, where we can still see fires burning here as we move into the early evening. Firefighters have been out here for some time fighting this fire as it's moved to the northwest, to the southeast, predominantly as the winds are blowing. And they're still fanning the fire here as we move into nightfall. Right now, firefighters are setting backfires to help prevent this fire from continuing any further into the evening. But it's going to be out here for some time as these winds blowing from 20 to 30 knots are fanning this fire and keeping it alive as it still moves to the west and to the southeast. Flying in Osage Sky News 6, Will Kavanagh, News on 6.
And unfortunately, as we look at Warren Live radar, we're not seeing any precipitation. What we're seeing is a smoke plume from that fire up there west of around the Barnsdall area. You can see that's streaming to the southeast with those gusty northwesterly winds. And that, by the way, is going to be changing for tomorrow. We'll be talking about the details on the winds coming up in just a few more minutes. Fire weather watch in effect for tomorrow. The red flag fire warnings have been allowed to expire. Temperatures are starting to cool off. Winds will be gradually subsiding as we go through the overnight hours. But tomorrow will be another high fire danger day as relative humidity will be less than 25% during the heat of the day. Winds not quite as strong, so we're not going to put it up into the extreme category just yet. And then the fire danger tapers off a bit as we go through the coming week because of cooler temperatures and therefore higher humidity levels. As we look at the radar satellite composite, again, lots of sunshine out there. Unfortunately, no precipitation. Daytime highs well into the 60s. Will be even warmer for tomorrow. Right now, it's a mixture of 40s and 50s across the area. And 52 downtown, 51 in Claremore up towards Skytook, 51 degrees, 54 in Sand Springs. And as we go through the rest of the evening hours by 9 o'clock, it should be down around the 42-degree mark. Still going to be a fire danger because the winds will still be blowing from the northwest at around 10 to 20 miles an hour. But the winds will be settling down for the overnight hours. Tomorrow, though, from a different direction. More about that in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks very much. Well, federal help could be on the way to parts of southeastern Oklahoma, which was hit hardest by the December ice storms. Governor Mary Fallin has requested a federal disaster declaration for Choctaw, LaFleur, McCurtain, and Pushmataha counties. The winter storm in early December killed 10 people and injured another 800. Several businesses and schools were forced to close their doors for days. If approved, federal funding could help the counties pay off the $6.5 million in damages caused by the storm. Well, there's a new plan that could let you keep more of the money you earn. Republicans in Oklahoma City unveiled a plan to slash the state's personal income tax. The bill filed in the House and Senate would cut the rate of 5.25% to 4.75% this month, with a reoccurring 0.25% cut each year until 2018, bringing the income tax down to 4%. Lawmakers tried to cut taxes last year, but the state Supreme Court ruled their bill was unconstitutional. Well, now to an update on breaking news. We were the first to report about the retirement of Senator Tom Coburn. It turns out even in retiring, the Muskogee native is looking for ways to save taxpayers money. In his letter of resignation to Governor Fallin, Coburn stated he hoped he gave her enough notice so his special election can coincide with the regular 2014 election, and it would, quote, not impose any undue burden on Oklahoma taxpayers. The governor was expected to formally declare the special election this week, but said yesterday it would go with the current 2014 election. Visit newson6.com to hear the kind words of President Obama had to say about the doctor from Muskogee. For new developments in the prospect of bringing horse slaughterhouses to Oklahoma. It's not happening anytime soon thanks to the budget measure signed by the president this week. The measure will provide temporary funding for the government, but it does not provide money to the Agriculture Department to inspect slaughterhouses. Oklahoma lawmakers approved the plan, but without inspection, the houses can't be built.
It's horribly frustrating because we did not go through that as a state until we saw what they were doing. We did not even have the discussion until the feds put the money back in to have those inspectors paid.
Lawmakers now say they are back at the starting gate on what to do with unwanted horses. Well, coming up, we'll check in again with News on 6 pilot Will Kavanagh live on the scene of this roaring structure fire. That's coming up right after the break. We are following breaking news of a roaring grass fire happening in Green Country right now. News on 6, Osage Sky News 6 pilot Will Kavanagh is live above that fire. And Will, what are you seeing right now?
Well, right now we're out here just north of Skytook, about 4 miles, and we still have this house structure that has just really taken off in the last 7 minutes, and now the house is completely engulfed. We do have firefighters out here surrounding the house, protecting other outstructures at this time. We don't have any reports of injuries yet, but we do not see EMS, so at this time, they're still just fighting the fire. This appears to be a result of the local grass fire. I'm going to have Chris zoom out, and you can see the grass fire, the ring of it, still around this house as it's burnt from the north through the house to the south here. So this appears to be the result of a grass fire in the local area. Again, we're still waiting for the official reports, but this house is still burning hot and heavy. Firefighters right now are just protecting the outstructures. Ashley?
Well, one quick question. How many houses do you see around this area? I see that one there. Are there some more close by?
There are some more a little bit to the bottom and to the left of the screen, but they're still quite a bit away. This is an open area, if you will. We're right on the ridge line that kind of looks over into Skiatook, and so there's a lot of houses up on the ridge, but still this is probably maybe a 20 to 30 acre house area here with these outstructures, so there's none too close at this time. But everybody needs to be aware that we are in the middle of winter with these high winds and the dry grass out there. Everything's going to burn quickly. Even though we've had a lot of rain, it's still dead grass and dead trees out there, or dormant trees right now. And you can see this house, since we've come live with you, is completely engulfed in the last 7 to 10 minutes.
Wow. All right, thank you very much, Will. Well, dozens of cyclists are in town this weekend for the Oklahoma Bike Summit. Just last year, Tulsa was named a bike-friendly community, and now bike advocates are looking for more ways to improve safety, which they say will also help boost the economy. It's a packed house at the Oklahoma Jazz Hall of Fame as bicycling enthusiasts from across the nation promote the sport and its benefits.
Bicycling is a great activity. It's healthy, it's fun, it's a great way to see new parts of the state and meet lots of great people.
Bill Elliott is from Oklahoma City. He, along with many others, are at the summit to learn about bicycle-friendly legislation and how cycling and tourism go hand in hand.
One of the things I'm hoping to bring back to this conference, too, is how can a small community invite folks in and make it friendlier for folks to come and visit and ride their bicycle.
Bonnie Winslow is here from Guthrie. She thinks helping people realize cycling is for everyone, not just men on race bikes, is key.
I love bicycle riding. I'm enthusiastic about it. I find it adventurous. It makes me feel like a kid again, and I really want to figure out ways we can get everybody out on a bicycle.
The summit brings the nation's top innovators in cycling and urban development. League of American Bicyclists President Andy Clark.
Bicycling is a healthy way for people to connect, for people to discover their communities, to discover their state.
Clark says Tulsa was recently awarded a bronze-level medal for being a bicycle-friendly community.
Tulsa's got a great trail network along the river that's got a really good spine for a great bike-friendly community.
He believes the ultimate safety and enjoyment of the sport depends on both cyclists and motorists sharing the roads together. And Andy Clark hopes Tulsans also learned ways to improve the city to a diamond-level bike-friendly community. Well, things are getting chilly across green country, and it was a near-perfect day on the Osage Casino Skycam network, but Dick Farrow is tracking some serious wildfire dangers.
Dick Farrow has the American Meteorological Society seal of approval.
Well, as mentioned earlier, nothing showing up on radar except smoke, and that's not a good thing. This is that smoke plume from up there in Osage County between Barnesdall and Skiatook, and you see it streaming to the southeast with those gusty northwesterly winds. That is also diminishing, so the fire is being put out, at least from what we can see on the radar. And the bigger picture, notice all the counties that are highlighted. It's because of wind and or red flag warnings or fire watches, all that sort of thing. But as we get into the 6 o'clock time frame, most of them are canceled, except out in western Oklahoma. Red flag fire warning in effect out there again for tomorrow afternoon, as they will be windier and warmer and drier than we will, which is not a good thing anyway. But here's where the fire weather watch is. Now, again, there's a red flag fire warning out here, but we are under a fire weather watch again for tomorrow afternoon, as conditions will be not quite as bad as today in the sense the winds won't be quite as strong, but it's also going to be a little warmer and humidity levels will be quite low. Speaking of the winds, my goodness, this is what the winds topped out at. These are the strongest wind gusts from the northwest, 40 at Bartlesville, 40 Ponca City here in Tulsa, topped out at 36 for the wind gusts. And of course, as you go further south and east, as is often the case, not quite as strong, but still too much wind for the conditions that we have with the warm and dry air that we have. Now, what's going on is an upper level pattern that just really hasn't changed much for most of this week. We continue to have a big upper level low that's hanging around the upper Great Lakes area. A big ridge off to the west of us, and the upper level flow is coming around that, and we've been kind of on the fringe of it. This flow pattern brings us a few high clouds from time to time, also these cool fronts that keep coming through, but they're just windy systems with no moisture. In fact, as we look at the precipitation potential through this coming Thursday, we're high and dry, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better beyond that even. Everything is around here or down along the Gulf Coast, so that's not a good situation either. Now, pay attention to the winds. This is what's going to happen as we go through the overnight hours. This gets us up to midnight, still with a lighter northwesterly winds. Winds will be calming down to a certain extent as we go through the overnight hours, around 10 or 15, instead of those gusts up around 40 or so. Then as we go through the rest of the overnight hours and towards morning, notice how the winds shift around, becoming more southwesterly by early morning, around 8, 10, 12 miles an hour. Temperatures will be on the chilly side in the 20s. Obviously, humidities will be much higher at that time. And then as we go through the day on Sunday, by the noon hour, notice how the arrows are getting longer. Those southwest winds starting to pick up. And by afternoon, becoming rather gusty again, up around 20, maybe 25 at times. Not the 40 that we had today at least, but a southwesterly wind and the absence of any cloud cover means lots of sunshine and a very warm day with temperatures well into the 60s. So that means humidity levels will again be very low, and although the winds won't be as strong, low humidity is still going to be a high fire danger situation. Here's what we have in downtown Tulsa right now, enjoying fair skies. Just see those high clouds out there, 52 right now, but no dew point. The air is very dry. Relative humidity even now is at 28%. It'll be down around 20% at the minimum for tomorrow afternoon. And those winds are still gusting to around 20, 25 miles an hour. Much warmer than normal to start the day and to end it. And for the rest of the area, temperatures in the 40s to low 50s at this hour with those northwest winds at around 15 or so. So they're beginning to settle down somewhat already. And as far as what's going to be happening, again, not much coming our way in the way of any active weather anytime soon. So Sunday, very warm, and with those southwest winds, humidity levels will be low, so a high fire danger for your Sunday. Northerly winds on Monday behind the next cold front be cooling off some, not as warm as we'll be on Sunday. That's still warmer than normal. Whole lot colder on Tuesday. Wednesday tries to rebound, colder yet on Thursday, then tries to rebound again for the coming weekend. Winds, anytime the wind blows under these kind of conditions, it's going to be a problem.
It's not good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Dick.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, the Cowboys play for a share of the Big 12 lead, while the Sooners try to hand 12th-ranked Baylor their second straight conference loss. Charlie has all the highlights next in sports.
This is News on 6 Sports with Charlie Hanneman.
It's safe to say Oklahoma State got Kansas's attention when the Cowboys won last year in Lawrence. The Cowboys and Jayhawks were picked as co-favorites in the Big 12, and today's game showed there's plenty of bad blood brewing between both teams. OSU looking for its first back-to-back wins in Lawrence since 1962 and 63. Things were chippy early after a dunk from Tarek Black. Some pushing and shoving ensues. Kansas just dominated the first half. Alley-oop to Joel Embiid. Cowboys down 47-30 at the half, but in the second half, here comes the rally. Markel Brown's three makes it a three-point game. Then Phil Forte in the final seconds gets it to a one-point game. After a Kansas free throw, LeBrian Nash had a chance to win it at the buzzer, but it's blocked. Cowboys lose 80-78. Number 25, Oklahoma playing its third-ranked opponent in 4 games at number 12, Baylor. Today, the Bears 9-0 at home this season, but coming off a loss at Texas Tech on Wednesday. Baylor led most of the first half, but here come the Sooners. Buddy Hield with a 3. That tied it at 51. Then it's Cameron Clark with the bucket. That capped off a 7-0 Sooner run. OU up 62-57. Baylor rallies when Isaiah Austin's 3 makes it a one-point game. The Bears had a chance to tie it at the horn, but this, after the buzzer, the Sooners escape Waco with a 66-64 win. Tulsa trying to bounce back from its overtime loss to Charlotte at Marshall today. The Herd 0-3 in conference play. Down by as many as 8 in the second half. James Woodard with a circus reverse layup. That ties it at 40. Then the Hurricane starts to pull away. Tim Pete drains the 3 to beat the shot clock. Tulsa in front by 8 at this point. Then Shaq Harrison puts the game away for good. The slam in transition. Tulsa outscores Marshall 29-12 in the last 11 minutes. Gets its first road win of the year, 69-52. Other than a hiccup at West Virginia 2 weeks ago, the Cowgirls have been rolling. They're ranked number 11 and are 15-1 on the year. A win today over Texas Tech would give OSU its best start to a season since the Sweet 16 run in 2008. Jim Littell's Cowgirls looking good again today. First half, Tiffany Bias, the drive. She gets the bucket but comes down hard. She'd be okay and finish with 9 points, 7 assists. Later, nice pass inside to Kendra Suttles for the layup. Cowgirls led by 5 at the half. Second half, pulling away. Backdoor pass to Bias for the layup. It's 42-30. Then it's Brittany Martin. Couple fakes here. She hits the 3 from the top of the key. Cowgirls cruise to an 82-56 win. The BOK Center is hosting high school basketball today for the first time since opening in 2008. The High School Hoops Showcase features 8 teams in some of the 8 games with some of the area's top teams, including 2 defending state champs. The afternoon highlight was a top 10 matchup at 6A, number 2 Union, number 9 Broken Arrow. Tigers hanging tough. Trenton Cantrell's 3 makes it a 1-point game. Union pulls away in the 4th. Sean Olden, nice reverse layup. It's 51-46 Redskins. Then it's Olden again. Union wins 62-53. We'll have much more on that coming up 10 out of 10.
Cool. Thanks very much. All right, we will continue to file this breaking news tonight at 9 and 10. Have a great night.